The mind is the most powerful machine ever designed, and it is not made of silicon, wires, or electricity, but of living cells, firing signals, carrying memories, shaping beliefs, and ultimately defining who you are. When you press play on this video, you are not just consuming words, you are inviting a process to unfold inside your brain that will rewire it in real time. Every sound that enters your ear, every idea that passes through your awareness, every mental image that sparks while you listen is not simply entertainment. It is construction. Your neurons are changing right now. The connections that determine your moods, your fears, your habits, your ability to focus, even the way you see yourself, are being updated in this very moment. That is the hidden secret. Your brain is plastic, not in the cheap sense of artificial, but in the profound sense of being moldable, adaptable, and alive. And once you realize that, you will never think about your life in the same way again. People believe change is hard, that transformation requires years of grinding effort. But what if the truth is far more immediate? What if you could begin rewiring your brain within minutes? Neuroscience shows us that the brain does not simply record life, it interprets it. It filters billions of signals every second and decides which ones matter. What you call reality is actually a construction. Your brain edits, exaggerates, deletes, and then hands you the illusion of a stable world. If you have ever argued with someone who saw the exact same event completely differently, you have witnessed this truth. The world does not change between two perspectives. The brain changes. And in this moment, by letting these words stream into your awareness, you are training your brain to see reality differently, slowly, steadily, layer by layer. This video will bend the filters, shatter old patterns, and show you the hidden levers that control how you think, feel, and act. The brain runs on patterns. From the moment you wake up, you follow the grooves of habit carved into your mind by years of repetition. You brush your teeth the same way, eat the same foods, think the same thoughts, worry about the same problems, and replay the same fears. These patterns create stability, but they also create prisons. They trap you in versions of yourself that no longer serve you. Imagine for a moment that you are not your thoughts, not your memories, not your past mistakes, not your labels, not even your name. Imagine that all of those are simply constructs the brain keeps running on repeat. Who would you be if you could strip them away? Who would you be if you could erase the prison walls and rebuild them from scratch? That possibility is what neuroplasticity offers you. The ability to change not just your behavior, but the very structure of your brain. Science shows us that every time you learn something new, every time you practice a skill, every time you challenge your beliefs, new synapses form, like branches on a tree. Your neurons reach out to connect with others, creating new pathways. Repetition strengthens them, neglect weakens them. If you dwell on negativity, you carve highways of anxiety. If you rehearse gratitude, you build pathways of calm. If you practice focus, your attention sharpens. If you constantly scroll in distraction, your brain fragments. Whatever you feed grows. Whatever you starve withers. That is the hidden law of your mind. And once you understand that law, you realize that your life is not random, your future is not fixed, and your destiny is not written. It is sculpted moment by what you allow into your awareness. Think about the power of attention. Right now, thousands of things could capture your senses. The temperature of the room, the pressure of the chair beneath you, the background noise, the buzzing of your phone. But your brain filters. Your dangers are not lions in the grass, but thoughts in your head. Someone criticizes you, and your brain reacts as if you are under attack. A failure at work feels like mortal danger. A breakup feels like life-ending loss. But these are not physical threats. They are interpretations. They are the brain misfiring, overreacting, amplifying. And if you do not learn to master these reactions, they will rule you. Fear will become your default. Anxiety your atmosphere. Insecurity your identity. But the same brain that learned fear can unlearn it. The same circuits that wired trauma can wire resilience. The same mind that imprisons you can liberate you. And the first step begins with awareness. Awareness is the scalpel of transformation. When you notice your thoughts, you create distance from them. Instead of drowning in the story, you step outside and watch it. Instead of saying, "I am anxious," you say, "My brain is generating anxious thoughts." That tiny shift rewires everything. You stop being the prisoner of your mind and become the observer. The observer can choose. The observer can redirect. The observer can reprogram. And once you live as the observer, you begin to reclaim control of your brain. You realize that discipline is not about forcing yourself, but about designing the pathways your brain runs on. Change the path, change the habit. Change the habit, change the identity. Change the identity, change the life. Neurochemistry reveals another layer. The brain is a cocktail of chemicals: dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins, each shaping how you feel and what you do. Dopamine is the spark of motivation, the thrill of anticipation. It drives you to pursue goals, but it also drives addiction to endless scrolling and cheap rewards. Serotonin stabilizes mood, giving you a sense of calm and satisfaction. Oxytocin bonds you to others, making connection feel meaningful. Endorphins mask pain, letting you push beyond limits. You are not at the mercy of these chemicals. They are at the mercy of your actions. Exercise releases endorphins. Gratitude boosts serotonin. Deep connection raises oxytocin. Purposeful goals balance dopamine. By consciously designing your daily actions, you can balance your brain chemistry, shift your emotions, and create a state where transformation becomes natural. The ancient world understood this truth without neuroscience. Philosophers spoke of training the mind. Monks practiced meditation. Warriors drilled rituals to master fear. They knew the brain could be bent, even if they did not have the word neuroplasticity. Today, science proves what wisdom intuited. The brain is not fixed. Intelligence can grow. Personality can shift. Trauma can heal. Habits can break. Identities can evolve. But only if you decide to participate in the process. And this video is not entertainment. It is a call to participate. With each passing word, your neurons are firing, connections forming, patterns shifting. Whether those shifts last depends on what you do after this. Do you let the moment pass, or do you act on it? That decision will determine whether this video becomes a spark or a transformation. The journey ahead is not about adding something new to you, but about unlocking what was always possible. The brain already contains the capacity for genius, resilience, creativity, focus, love, and clarity. But most people live in a fog, trapped by old wiring, sabotaged by unconscious scripts. They repeat cycles not because they want to, but because their brain has memorized them. Think of it like a computer running outdated software. No matter how hard you press the keys, the system keeps freezing. The only solution is an upgrade. This video is the beginning of that upgrade. By the end, your brain will not be the same. You will not be the same. The old scripts will weaken, new ones will emerge, and you will carry forward a new sense of what is possible. Not because I said it, but because your own brain will have proven it to you. The brain is like a garden, and every thought is a seed. Most people scatter seeds unconsciously, letting weeds of fear, doubt, anger, and distraction grow wild until they choke out the flowers of possibility. But what happens when you begin to choose your seeds? What happens when you plant thoughts of strength, focus, love, creativity, and resilience with intention? Over time, the garden transforms. At first, it seems slow. You still see weeds. You still feel old fears. But then, one day you notice something different. A new clarity, a sharper focus, a surprising calm in situations that used to overwhelm you. That is the moment you realize your brain is not who you are, but a tool you are meant to shape. When you take responsibility for your garden, you stop living as a prisoner of the unconscious and start living as a creator of the mind. Every decision you make in awareness becomes water for the seeds of transformation. But there is a deeper secret hidden in how the brain works. Neurons do not just fire in isolation, they form networks. A thought is not just a thought, it is a chain of signal moving through billions of cells. And these networks are competitive. The stronger a network becomes, the more it dominates your awareness. That is why addictions are powerful. That is why trauma feels overwhelming. That is why joy can be fleeting unless practiced. Networks fight for survival, and whichever one you feed becomes the master of your mind. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are not cursed. You are simply running networks that you did not choose. And the way to reclaim your power is to weaken the old networks and strengthen the new. Every time you shift your focus, every time you resist an old impulse, every time you practice a new habit, you are rewiring the battlefield of your brain. This is not motivation, this is biology. And biology does not lie. Imagine two wolves inside you. One is fear, the other is courage. One is despair, the other is hope. One is distraction, the other is focus. Which wolf wins? The one you feed. This is not just a metaphor. It is neuroscience in disguise. Synaptic pathways are like wolves, hungry for attention. Feed the wrong one, and it grows teeth. Feed the right one, and it becomes your protector. Most people unknowingly feed the wolves of fear and doubt every day by replaying negative thoughts, by indulging in distractions, by surrounding themselves with toxic environments, and then they wonder why their brain feels heavy, why clarity escapes them, why happiness seems impossible. But you can make a different choice. You can starve the wolf of fear by denying it attention. You can feed the wolf of courage by acting even when afraid. You can feed the wolf of focus by returning your attention every time it wanders. Slowly the balance shifts. Slowly, your brain becomes an ally instead of an enemy. There is also a hidden trap in the way society trains your brain. From the moment you are born, you are flooded with scripts, beliefs about what is possible, who you are, what you should fear, how you should live. Parents pass them down. Schools reinforce them. Media amplifies them. Without realizing it, your brain absorbs these scripts as truth. You believe intelligence is fixed, that failure defines you, that success is rare, that happiness is fragile. But all of these are illusions. They are viruses of the mind. And the first step to freedom is to question them. Ask yourself, who told me I cannot change? Who told me I am not enough? Who told me my dreams are impossible? Trace the script back, and you will see it was never truly yours. It was implanted, and if it was implanted, it can be erased. Once you question the scripts, your brain begins to crack open. Doubt is replaced by possibility. Fear is replaced by curiosity, and the garden of your mind becomes fertile ground for new realities. Neuroscience shows us that the act of imagining is almost as powerful as the act of doing. When athletes mentally rehearse their movements, their brains fire as if they were physically practicing. When you visualize success, your neurons build the pathway toward it. When you rehearse confidence, your body follows. Most people waste imagination on fear, rehearsing failure, picturing disaster, catastrophizing the future. Their brain wires itself for panic because it cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality. But what if you flipped that? What if you used imagination as a weapon? What if you rehearsed victory instead of defeat? What if you visualized resilience instead of collapse? Your brain would adapt, your body would align, your actions would follow. This is not fantasy, it is biology. Your neurons cannot resist what you repeatedly imagine. They will bend to your vision. Think of time as the canvas, and your attention as the brush. Every day, you paint strokes on the canvas of your brain. Scroll endlessly, and you paint distraction. Complain endlessly, and you paint negativity. Train deliberately, and you paint mastery. Love deeply, and you paint connection. Over years, the canvas reveals a masterpiece or a mess. Most people live as if the canvas paints itself. They drift, they react, they copy others, and then they look back wondering why their brain feels chaotic. But you are holding the brush right now. Every word you are hearing is another stroke. You can keep painting unconsciously, or you can choose to paint deliberately. And the choice you make determines the brain you live inside tomorrow. There is another layer most people never consider. The body is not separate from the brain. It is the brain extended. The gut, the heart, the skin, all send signals that shape your mind. That is why poor sleep ruins clarity, why bad diet clouds focus, why lack of movement fuels depression. When you neglect the body, you sabotage the brain. But when you align the body with the brain, transformation accelerates. Exercise floods your mind with endorphins and growth factors that build new neurons. Deep breathing calms the nervous system and resets your emotions. Proper rest consolidates memories and clears toxins. You cannot rewire the mind while abusing the body. They are one system, one network, one organism sculpting itself every day. The more you honor that connection, the more powerfully your brain responds. And here lies the deepest truth of all. The brain is not just a machine. It is a mirror. It reflects what you believe, what you feed it, what you expect from it. If you believe you are weak, the brain will generate weakness. If you believe you are capable, the brain will generate strength. Belief is not magic. It is the signal that tells the brain which pathways to prioritize. Placebo studies prove this beyond doubt. Give someone a sugar pill and tell them it is medicine, and their brain heals as if it were real. Why? Because belief changes chemistry. Chemistry changes perception, and perception changes reality. That is the hidden power you hold. The ability to choose beliefs that build you instead of break you. When you decide, truly decide, that you can rewire your brain, the process begins. Your neurons listen to your decision, your chemistry aligns with it, and your reality bends around it. This is why awareness, attention, imagination, body, and belief form the 5 pillars of transformation. Each one is a lever that rewires your brain. Awareness gives you distance from old scripts. Attention directs energy to new pathways. Imagination builds the future in advance. Body alignment fuels the process. Belief locks the system into self-fulfilling loops. Master these 5, and your brain becomes unstoppable. Ignore them, and your brain becomes a cage. Most people live unaware, distracted, fearful, disconnected, and doubting. And their brain reflects exactly that. But you do not have to. You can live aware.